Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahushai, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahushai, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem, God Kodash. Bloodlines to the apostles and the elders and great men on true well. Salutations to the hopeful elect out there. You Akim to Sadakim to do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. On the pre-Shaman, this week's topic is going to be entitled Advice for Coming Economic Collapse or Dollar Collapse, something to that extent. The inspiration for the show comes from the lesson the boss of the Tahar did, entitled Get Back, Kept Back by Fraud. But she was speaking about the fact that the money that you have and the stimulus that they're giving you is really hurting you. And different like little financial stuff in and out of there, speaking about Bitcoin and these types of things. Well, I just want to say, as a little advice, it's up to you, all right? The apostle also kind of gave a plug to the investment thing, right? Now, I'm just going to speak briefly on that. It was about a year ago, 2019, going into 2020. We were in 2020 around January. Told brothers, if possible, use your tax return to put it in some type of asset, because based on what these guys are doing, your money's just going to be sitting there burning, right? Now, I'm not saying abuse anything, but use this information to your advantage. The brothers that hopped on it, a year went by, we're in 2021 now. The brothers that hopped on it, they're doing extremely well, man. And all praises go to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai for that. Kind of protect themselves against the crazy shit that was going on, and even kind of profited from the crazy shit that's going on. Which the crazy shit that's going on is not crazy to us, it's prophetic, We know all roads lead to the RFID chip. We know all roads lead to ultimately you people being enslaved. Alright, so what these elites are doing now is, since they've already wiped out the upper middle class, shutting them down, sending out stimuluses to devalue their currency even more, because you do pay for that stimulus in the form of price inflation, alright? So the things around you, the way it works is like this: the more money, the less value. The only ones that could really adapt to that is like your big corporations that to adapt, they raise the price, right? This causes asset inflation, because the people that have a lot of money, a lot of people that control this world, mainly the elites, Edomites and such, they can't just have their money sitting in cash, because with interest rates so low, they're not getting any return on their money, and inflation is working against their money, against their buying power, so they have to invest in things, right? And since they can't get anything on bonds, corporate bonds, they're putting their money into riskier assets. And you see an inflation in the stock market, you see an inflation in real estate. That's not going to be right. It's going to eventually go back up. And you see inflation in even Bitcoin. The apostle spoke about this, which is this cryptocurrency situation. I say this much, man. Certain brothers that legit understood this thing got in Bitcoin. When it was, I'm just shocked. Like, wow, they really understood what the hell is going on with this Bitcoin thing. They got in and they Gucci. They're doing well. So the guys out there that call us bums and derelicts here at Great Millstone, that is completely not the truth. Brothers work hard. Brothers have assets. Brothers study things. We're not idiots, man. Okay. And bums. We understand that this place is going down, but we understand that we have to use wisdom to get by. All right. So look, man, do this thing, brothers. Hey, man. 2020 actually. Brothers were blessed, man. Brothers were blessed, and didn't thankfully turn into the pocket in their mind. You don't want to. What I mean, the pocket is you have this guy, the IUIC. He was kind of in the lot of like that Joseph of Arimathea type thing, where he had brother had wealth, right? And Bishop Kanai of the IUIC abused him, and that's sad, but that happens. That. Scripture says every brother shall supply it. So when you bump into a large amount of money, hey man, just pray for wisdom with that, because you want a sweet balance between being charitable but not being a sucker, because the scriptures say brothers will supplant, man, so you don't want to be the pocket. It's better to be the mindset, honestly, of teaching a man how to fish. If you came up on that information and you came up on some bread and you could teach brothers how to do the same thing, that'll be a lot better. Teaching a man how to fish instead of just giving it out. Because guess what? Look what happens if you look at these rappers and NBA players. All right, when they get drafted in the first round of NFL, 2 years later they're dead broke. Be in the pocket, In the ancient world, you had a cistern and you had a well, right? So that was considered like, man, this person has his own well. He doesn't have to go to the center out there to go fetch it miles and all that. It's really good if you could just teach people how to make their own wells, okay? Because that way, hey, shit, man, your well dry up. The well's gonna dry up a lot faster now. You're old fuck, right? But if you have other people digging their own systems and learning how the engineering of it, then they Gucci, man. Hey, and brothers did that, man. All right. Hey, certain brothers that I put on through the spirit, now they telling me what to do. And I was like, yo, man, shit, hey, brother, hey, all praises of the Most High, man. You don't got the wisdom on that. Hey, but with that to the side and all that, all right. Ultimately, our faith goes into Yahweh Shem Shai, that He's gonna make a way and make a guidance. All right, but I just thought I'll put that out there. With this coming financial collapse, use wisdom to find out how to financially maneuver through this society, because, hey, man, we know where this thing is going, Gold, silver, the reason you haven't seen gold and silver move like Bitcoin, which like at a crazy return, is because gold and silver is not as liquid. You buy gold and silver, it's a lot easier to move $2 million, $3 million in cryptocurrency from one country to the next, as opposed to gold bars, right? So that's how the main American people are thinking, because the vast majority of these people don't have the truth. And what you're seeing now is gold actually get cheaper and cheaper. And I said this through the spirit back in March when gold was rocking it up. I said, I ain't buying gold now, all right? Because I already know what these devils plan to do, all right? These devils, their ultimate goal is after they wipe everybody out and buy them out, now let's try to build it back up. Now let's try to pump it back up. And then when they pump it back up, then gold goes the hell down, So that's what's happening, all right? The thing fell from 2000s, it's dropping down, So, hey, man, get into it, And I understand that that's not every brother's spirit, but to the brothers that want to jump on it, hey, jump on it, man. All right, because scriptures say this thing's a body, right? You have your head, you have your arms, you have your legs, all have different functions. All right, so I know when you put together a lesson like this, or the Apostle Tahal put together a lesson like that, I already know it's not going to be for every brother. You know what I'm saying? That's not every brother's really forte. Not everybody's going to be John the Baptist, and not everybody's going to be Joseph Arimathea. It's different purposes in the body. You feel me? So, yeah, man. But going back to what's going on with this dollar collapse situation, well, what the problem is, the scriptures in Haggai, the first chapter, the 6th verse, says that, you got a bag with holes in it. Meaning the moment you get your money, it's going into some sort of bills or some sort of other shit, and it feels like you could never really dig yourself out of this quicksand of debt, because America's economy is ran upon debt. Rebecca, the 2nd chapter speaks about, in the 6th verse says, he laid himself with thick clay, which is that word abatya, right? Hebrew word abatya. All right, there's two sort of economic philosophies that people are split on, all right? You have an Austrian economic society, which says, look, the GDP, or the gross domestic product, is going to go up directly with the amount of work we put in, all right? And you have the Keynesian approach, where it says, look, we could inflate our GDP, but we can use debt. And that's the one that America used. They use the Keynesian economic way of running their society, all right? When you do that, yes, in the long run, it does go up, but what happens is you have debt cycles. You have cycles of just long-term debt and short-term debt, and this bubble, the American debt, is insane, it's insane. And even though all this printing is creating price inflation, it's not creating inflation in the American system, all right, in terms of GDP, because GDP is still going down, okay? Yet inflation is going up. I mean, GDP is going down, yet more money is being printed in society, and it's causing a deflationary effect. All right, but not a price inflation, deflationary effect. Okay, man, shit, I could try to simplify that. All right, meaning prices at your average local store is still going up, but America's GDP is not going up. And what's happening is, the reason that's happening is everybody's tied up in debt, man. All right, because the goal is to give money to people to have them go out there and spend, and the more money gets transferred, money velocity, all right, that creates inflation. But if you look at the United States inflation, it's been going down since 2008, even though they keep printing more and more money. Why is that? Because when the American people get that stimulus, it's going right back to the banks in the form of these different creditors you owe, whether it's your credit card debt, your bills, all these different things. Okay, and the upper elite, they're not tripling that money down to you. Okay, they storing that shit. Okay, and they buying things that doesn't get down to the average folk. So that's why inflation is not going up. Okay, but price inflation is, and more debt is happening. So the elites are working to fulfill the scriptures where it says he calls it all, both rich and poor. Rich and poor. They don't say nobody in the middle. There ain't gonna be no middle. You're gonna have your kings and you're gonna have your serfs. All right, and that's what happened with this particular situation, man. All right, and if you in tune with how Esau moving right now, okay, now he's trying to bring this thing back in the terms of like opening up things and all that. After everybody been wiped the fuck out, okay, and printing a lot more money. They're gonna print so much money. All right, Biden's already working on this $2,000 stimulus, man. Okay. And the so-called Democrats control the House, the Senate, and the presidency. So there's no going to be no debate. There's not going to be no Republicans trying to fight too much stimulus spending. Nah, they're just going to keep printing that thing, man. Ultimately, what? Leading up to that check. You know? Everything is moving in accordance with the scriptures. All right? Now, I wanted to speak on the fact when they attacked the Capitol Hill building. Also, they were debating in the Senate, okay, about reviewing the situational election fraud and this, that, and the third. And immediately after the Capitol building got stormed, they were doing a 2-hour debate on looking over the election, the validation of the election. And sure enough, as soon as that happened, then went that flash mob in the Capitol building, which that was fueled by agent provocateurs. All right, because if you look at Trump supporters, they not like Antifa and BLM. They don't burn shit down, and they don't do that. They're like they're Edomites that are all about the law and shit. Like they'll come up with guns, but their guns be licensed and all that type of shit. Or they're the type to get in front of the cops and start reading all through the Constitution, and that's their vibe. So when I saw people scaling walls, I'm like, the average Trump supporter ain't gonna know how to scale these high ass walls and break shit, and that's not their motive. So they had that one dude that wear the buffalo costume. He was in the Antifa joint, he was in the BLM joint, but all of a sudden he's in the Trump joint too. That don't make no sense. Those guys are agent provocateurs, and they got what they wanted. What they wanted was imagery. All right, they wanted the imagery of people pushing against cops and windows break. All they need is the imagery, and then you can just twist the narrative as you want to twist it. Okay, because the scriptures speak about this man miracles. All right, his miracles is his technology. All right, and he uses his technology as witchcraft, man. All right, manipulating the masses of the people through imagery. All right, we experienced that here. I'm out here in the Bronx, whatever. And when Fordham, during the riots, the way they painted it, they made it look like the people in Fordham were burning down their own shit and destroying their own community. Well, that wasn't so. Unless you were underground or knew people in the area, you didn't know that those people were not from that Fordham. They actually came from Chicago. All right? And where I was working at, I saw people in blacked out tinted SUVs looking to loot and raid, all right, with plates that was from different states. But they would make it look like the people in those states were rioting and trying to break down their own things, when really they was trying to defend it, man. They was actually chasing those dudes out, those people that wasn't from that hood, chasing their ass out, trying to help those people preserve their businesses, man. But the news painted like, see, this is what happened, and people upset and burning things down, and So all they need is imagery, and they got the imagery of cops pushing up against this dude, and that was fuel enough to say, look, man, these guys are terrorists. We have to think one way, and just like that, boom. Biden also bribed you, Jake, saying, look, man, you make us all Democrats, we're gonna give you 2K, and I can't wait till the Most High use that devil to turn him to hell. So you Israelites praising this dude, thinking this guy's a second coming or something to save your problems and end all your woes. Not saying Trump is any better, all right, but trusting in oppression like you're always doing, going down to Egypt for help, because you're like, man, Social Security is gonna go up, man. This guy's gonna give us a whole bunch of WIC checks and a whole bunch of stimulus packages, and that ain't gonna solve nothing for you, man. That's only gonna put you more in a bind, and I can't wait till that comes to pass, man. All right. Instead of going to the Lord and praying for wisdom how to navigate through this really maze so-called white man set up, all right, you're gonna fall on the so-called white man. All right, you're gonna buy a lottery ticket every day and pray you win it. Just a cycle of just a mindset that the so-called white man exactly programmed you to be, which is to be dependent. All right, he's trying to do that to the entire U.S. economy, really. All right, everybody in the U.S. population, he wants to make it dependent on the government, man. All right, making you think the only way you can survive is through a stimulus check. All right, that's what this devil is doing. And our people are taking the bait, hook, line, and sinker. Now, hey, this one Edomite, his name was John Templeton. He said the only time he saw a period of deflation, he died like early 2000, whatever. He said he saw a period of deflation in the 1920s, and the reason that happens is because people were a lot more different. They were not dependent on the government. All right. But now he said this in the 80s. He said, I don't think you'll ever see pardon me. He said, I don't think you will ever see another period of deflation, all right? But you will see inflation for the next X amount of years. And he began to, to say the amount of years that you'll be seeing that for, man. And then, well, guess what? It came to pass, And that's because, again, the American people are dependent on the government, all right? And we already know that the government, ran by the so-called white man, is your enemy. And it's never doing anything in your vested interest, man. All right, but Jake doesn't get that. It's like back. Let me close out the show properly. All right. I'll say pretty much Jake don't get that. Isaiah 31:1. They're gonna keep trusting in the so-called white man. All right, going down to Egypt for help, and that's a part of the snare. That's a part of the trap to catch you. That's how he catches you in his net. All right. Approaching my destination, man. Phone kicked out, kind of lost a lot of track of my mind, my thoughts rather. But yeah, man. Hey, look, just a little advice. Went a little bit all over the place, but I pray some edification got out, brothers. Hey, again, you about to come into some bread. There's $2,000 stimulus coming in, and IRS tax money coming. Hey, man, just try to find ways to use it to create a hedge for yourself. All right. And navigate in this place, all right? This place. And if you're not sure, then if you know a brother that knows how to do things like that, well, link up with that brother, all right? Because like I said, man, brothers that did that move a year ago, all right, they were straight through 2020, man, all right, and they did really well. So look, I'm gonna give all praises to Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shah, Bashim Mukakadash, the blindness to the apostles and the elders of bringing us on true well. Salutations to hopefully elect out there, you Akim, Sister Dakim, that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. Shalom.